Now we are live. All right, today is April 4th, 2023. This is episode 11 of the Varsity podcast. NCAA basketball tournaments are complete. We have crowned a champion in men's and women's, that being UConn and LSU. Before we talk in depth about those, got a little bit of a weekend recap in other college sports. There wasn't any hockey this weekend, but the Frozen Four will be this upcoming weekend, and we do have a hockey expert in our group here. Beeve,
we can use that term lightly.
Well, you got any prediction? Who's going to win it?
I alluded to it last podcast, but I think it's going to be a all Big Ten championship. I think it's going to be Minnesota, Michigan, and I'm very torn. They're two very even teams. Like I said, in the Big Ten championship, it was a 1-goal game. Two very talented teams. Michigan came out on top, and I think just because of that, I'd say Minnesota gets their revenge. But
all right.
Any one of the four can win it. Like we talked about it last time.
Yep.
I mean, there are 4 of the 5 top teams in the country in this Frozen Four. So, I mean, and hockey's so unpredictable as it is. So, I mean, any one of the 4 can win it. Wouldn't be surprised.
All right, good takes. By saying that, now we can look back at it next week, and no matter what, you were right because you said any of the 4.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, I like that.
If I had to pick a final, though, it would be Minnesota over Michigan.
All right, that sounds good. Yeah, so that's probably going to be like the only new thing next week. Otherwise, we're probably just going to do our NIL draft and interview Justin because we'll get into this, but he technically actually earned his guest appearance next week. We'll talk about that later. I mean, we're going to give it to him anyway, but okay. Also, this weekend in college sports, gymnastics, they're down to their Elite Eight. I don't think it's technically called that, but they're down to 8 teams. That's just the semifinals because they do it. Anyway, LSU is actually still in it.
Yeah, there's not a team that can stop them. It's over. Just crown them already, really.
They are, I believe, the 6th seed, but
number 1 in my heart.
There you have it. Number 1 in Beef's heart. That's all that really matters. Okay. Southern Miss baseball had quite the week. We're up, 2-1 on Ole Miss, and then they decided to call the game because players were slipping on the infield, and the field conditions were not good enough to play. That seems ridiculous.
It's in a double-A park.
Yeah.
How can a double-A park not be up to standards?
I don't make any sense to me. And my guess is they saw Southern Miss winning, and it was a bad look for Ole Miss, and so they had to pretend that the conditions were bad. But I don't know.
See us winning.
It's ridiculous. However, with that being said, Southern Miss took 2 out of 3 this weekend, meaning it's our first above 500 week since we've been doing. Oh, to be fair, they haven't been below 500 either. But this was the first above 500, 2-1. Only loss was the second game of that series in extra innings. It was a road series, so anytime you take 2 out of 3 on the road is good. Southern Miss might be looking up. Like I'm not hating this right now. Like, do I think they're going to win it all? Not a chance. But do we maybe have a talking point this year instead of NC State losing all the time? Potentially. So,
as of this morning, I was looking at some college baseball bracketology. They have Southern Miss in a regional right now with LSU and TCU. So, going to have to start winning some games to get out of a regional with LSU. Yeah. That's a death sentence. So, we cannot end up in that regional, but
yeah. We'll see. I also want to look back when this is all said and done because I don't even recall who was like near the end of the wheel because obviously the wheel told us who we were going to pick. But if we end up like, I don't know if LSU was even on our wheel, but if they were,
They
Like,
weren't. We
okay,
refused to put any top 10
okay,
teams on the
okay.
wheel.
All right, that makes me feel better because it would have stunk if like one of these top teams ended up being like close on the wheel, and I don't really remember who we put on the wheel. So okay, that's at least good. Um, we'll see what happens, but I'm glad Southern Miss is at least putting out an effort that makes it look like they'll be a tournament team. Okay, the NIT occurred last week. We don't really need to talk much about it. It's not a real tournament. North Texas won. Congrats. It doesn't really mean anything. Like, I wouldn't want to win that tournament anyway. It's not a real tournament. Like, it's embarrassing to have that banner. But congratulations to North Texas. Again, that tournament didn't really count. It was more like just guys practicing. That's all we really need to say about the NIT. Not a real tournament. But like for the teams that are in it, they're all good teams. Don't get me wrong. It's just like you don't want to win that. It's more like, okay, we want to practice. You usually want to get to about the Final Four and then like bail out so teams don't really remember that you were in like the championship or something. But then you get the most practice and like then your guys decide to buy back into your program and go for a fifth year and all that. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for the NIT talk. Moving on. All right, let's just get right into this. We had two really good Final Fours this weekend. Well, at least we had one really good Final Four and then one really good game in the men's Final Four. The women's Final Four was actually extremely exciting. Men's, there was one good game all weekend, but that's just because any game UConn's been in has been quite obvious who's going to win after a couple of minutes.
They won every game by 10, right?
Yeah, they won every game by double digits.
That's...
Except the only game that they didn't look like they were just going to run away with was against Iona.
First half against Iona, yeah.
Yep. But they ended up running away with it. But yeah, just a total dominant effort. And we'll get to that. Let's talk about the women's tournament first. This was such an exciting weekend, and I think it's fair to say that like at least for college, women's basketball is like finally getting a lot of respect. And it was an awesome weekend. Caitlin Clark, we'll talk about the championship later, but took down South Carolina in incredible fashion. Another 40-point game. South Carolina, I thought, was completely unstoppable. And a credit to the whole Iowa team, but I mean, what Caitlin Clark did the entire tournament kind of proves she is probably the best college player ever. I don't think that's too much of a stretch. I mean, it was pure dominance, pure excellence. She takes a lot of shots, but she hits so many crazy ones. She's an elite passer. Like, why wouldn't you have the usage rate she has? Like, if you're that good. So full credit to Iowa there. Took down South Carolina. Stunned me because I didn't think that South Carolina team could lose with how deep they were. But this will make things interesting for the future because they had a lot of seniors. And like Caitlin Clark's a junior. And now we'll get into LSU. They came back against Virginia Tech, had a massive fourth quarter. Can't say anything like that, like Angel Reese is much worse because now she's a national champion. Like, yeah, Caitlin Clark was dominant, but Angel Reese gets tons of rebounds and just like obviously the whole LSU team, and especially in the championship, it was more of a team effort. But like Clark, Reese, both juniors. Like, I don't know. I think we're in for a treat. Not to mention, I still think there's a chance, and this might be a stretch now with how dominant Caitlin Clark's been. There's a chance that Paige Beckers is still the best in their class, and she didn't play this year. And then it's like, I mean, Van Lith is up there. She's probably fourth or fifth best in that class, and she every March shows up. It's like, it's an insane class. So next year I think is going to be really good, but championship on Sunday, LSU was just They didn't miss. And I know the refs were a huge talking point in this game, and rightfully so. They weren't great, but I don't think the winner was determined by the refs because LSU shot, I want to say, like 50% from beyond the arc. And, like, yeah, I think they benefited from officiating, and I think a lot of that is their coach just seems to have the NBA wrapped around her fingers, or not NBA, NCAA wrapped around her fingers. Maybe she has the NBA wrapped around her fingers, but I don't know. But full credit to LSU and also Iowa for having a great tournament. Yeah, you guys got anything? Catch anything in the games you want to talk about?
I would have preferred their coach not to be on the court half the time
Yeah.
for 6-on-5, but it's just me.
Yeah. No, I agree. And like I said, I think she's got the NCAA wrapped around her finger. And I think that was a ludicrous tech on Caitlin Clark. I think that might have been
I would agree.
one of the most ridiculous.
The coach should have got teed up for the ref running into her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she made contact with the ref.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, it was poor officiating, but I don't want to like stand here and say LSU.
I mean, they still won by like 15 points,
and they were just playing lights out. But again, credit to Iowa, they were so good. But it's tough to win a game where you're getting a lot of ticky-tack fouls. Although free throws were about even for the teams, it just seemed like Iowa was getting massively called against, like on, I don't know. But again, I also want to credit both teams because they were good. And speaking of crediting both teams, the First Lady tried to, after the game, invite Iowa.
Ridiculous. Absolutely
to go
ridiculous.
to the White House after losing. No. Luckily, Iowa's coach, like, right away said, like, I declined that. Like, you guys can come to Iowa, but we didn't win. We shouldn't. So that was cool. And then Caitlin Clark said herself, she's like, it's not for runner-ups, like, which I thought was cool.
Should we invite the whole NCAA to the White House?
Yeah, exactly. It's like
participation trophies.
A lot of teams put up good efforts, but if you don't win, you don't go to the White House, and it should be pretty simple. Now, big talking point was the trash talk in the tournament, which I thought was great. I think that's part of sports. I don't know. I think we might have briefly talked about this last week, but it really ramped up. Caitlin Clark is a master trash talker, and I think after the South Carolina game where she was letting people shoot and, doing everything she was doing, it got in LSU's head. It might have been a motivator, but
I don't know why LSU was getting upset for how Caitlin Clark was playing South Carolina. It's a different team. Like, it doesn't make sense.
And that's, I don't know, but if that did motivate them, I guess good for them. But yeah, that seemed really weird. Like, I think it's just good for the sport. And Caitlin Clark, like, in depth after the tournament, talked about how she, like, enjoys the trash talk. And she even said, like, she liked when LSU was doing it back to her. It's like, it's part of sport and it's awesome. So yeah, it was so weird that people were getting upset, especially LSU, but then I guess they got the last laugh with the whole whatever, all that you can't see me, and then the ring thing, which whatever.
Caitlin Clark came out today and said that she was okay with what Angel Reese did. So.
Yeah, and I have no problem with that. It was maybe a little like weird, but like, go off, you won a national title. It did seem a little excessive, but not in like
it was a bit over the top.
She shouldn't do that. It was more like, I'd just celebrate with my teammates at that point. But I give her full credit, like she deserved to do it, but not that Caitlin Clark deserved it against her. But I'm saying if you win a title, you can do whatever you want. I don't know. I love the trash talking though, and like a lot of the players said, there's no like bad blood, and it's just part of sports. And I think it's interesting that it's been such a talking point, and I think it's awesome that they're doing it. But like the people that are like having issues with it, I don't know. Like grow up, I guess, is what I have to say about that, because it's cool. It's sports. Like let them trash talk. But yeah, it was an awesome tournament. I thought a lot of really good games, a lot of great performances, and I'm excited for next year because there is so much talent. That senior class is going to be absurd. And I do want to see a healthy year out of everyone in that class so we can really see. But I mean, if we could get a Final Four of like LSU, Iowa, UConn, and Louisville, like the top teams or the top seniors in the class, could be electric. And I don't know. I'm excited for it, regardless of what happens. But anything else from that tournament? It was a great tournament, really. Also, the viewers on ESPN like crushed all their NBA games, which I thought was hilarious. Because, you know, people like, I have nothing against the NBA, but it is funny how much like the media covers the NBA, and then it's just like the college tournament dominates their viewerships on ESPN. But I don't know.
I just think how you're talking about like Caitlin Clark possibly being the best college player ever. Like I feel like this is the most coverage and attention the women's tournament has gotten, at least in my lifetime. And it's like,
for sure.
I think that is because of Caitlin Clark and nobody else, in my
100%. 100%. I mean, what she did against Louisville and against South Carolina in back-to-back games was
40-point back-to-back 40-point games with the 40-point triple-double. That is, that's why people are tuning in, because of her.
Yeah, 100%. And like the crazy thing is too, like especially in those games, it was like even though she was completely dominant, her team around her was really good, and I think you have to credit her because she sets up her teammates so like it's unreal watching her play. So full credit to her, but again, there's a lot of talent I think right now in the whole tournament. So I think it's fun when I feel like the level of play has gone up recently and makes it fun to watch. Okay, moving on to the men's then. UConn wins it all. This doesn't really feel like much of a surprise. Once we got to that Final Four, it seemed like it was UConn's to lose. And they do it pretty easily. Like, I guess last night, San Diego State did make it interesting late, but it felt like there was no way UConn was ever really going to lose. And then UConn ended up pulling away the last couple of minutes. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the game of the weekend was San Diego State FAU for sure. I had been in Illinois. I was at the Brewer game that day, and so I was like, okay, like I'll put a little thing for UConn and San Diego State both to win. And I'm looking, and I'm like, San Diego State's down. I was like, all right. And just driving back, I get home. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna turn it on. And it had ended like 30 seconds prior, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they won. And then I see the buzzer beat. I mean, unreal. I mean, these are like, I guess it was technically April, but like this is what March is about. Like the moments like that. I don't know, pretty sweet. Great run by FAU to get to the Final Four and seconds away from championship game, but San Diego State put together a nice comeback, wins. Miami UConn wasn't much to it. Like we just talked about, that's been the story all tournament for UConn. And then, last night's game, it felt like it was pretty much UConn all the way there too. So shout out UConn. They won. I'm not going to say it was like the most dominant tournament ever, just because there have been other runs similar, and they didn't ever really have like that tough of a matchup. Like, I don't want to discredit it because they obviously were the best team this month by far, and they deserve to win it. But at the end of the day, it was like, it's just weird. Like, okay, so I guess I'll ask you guys this question. Was UConn that good this tournament, or was everyone else that bad? And I'm not saying everyone else was bad, because obviously teams played well, but like the top dogs all losing, like, kind of cleared a path. What do you guys think? Like, obviously I'm not discrediting UConn in any way, but like, do you think if this UConn team was placed in another year, they'd have the same success?
I think they were that good. From what I saw, I thought they looked pretty dominant.
Yeah, and it's hard to argue that. They throttled Gonzaga, who was playing really well coming into the tournament. So,
I mean, yeah.
Like, yeah, it was such a weird tournament. Like, looking at that Final Four, and I mean, everyone in the way there, it's just like, it was so weird. It's so hard to read this tournament. That's why I asked.
Like, I'm just looking at the bracket. Like, would you have rather just had them play Kansas instead of Arkansas? Like, is that what you're alluding to?
I mean, maybe that, or just like the Final Four itself, even like going against Miami and San Diego State, 5 seeds. That, like, again, I don't want to discredit any team that did it, because they got there. They had to beat teams to get there, but it's just like, this is not like your traditional champion run. Like,
I think beating Gonzaga by almost 30.
Yeah,
is
I
best.
agree.
I think that's enough to say that they're just a good team. I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And again, like, I do agree they are a very good team. I just, like, if they went against, like, I don't know, last year, if they're in the Final Four last year with all the Blue Bloods, do they run away with the game? I mean, I think they'd be a lot closer. Maybe they win it all last year too. I don't know. I mean, it's a
like
really
last year. Like
team.
North Carolina was an 8 seed last year.
Right. I don't know.
I think they're good. And you're talking about like how dominant they were. I think they said on the broadcast that like 2018 Villanova also won all their games by 10 plus points or something like that. So,
yeah, it's a rare feat for sure.
Yeah. Yes, that's a comparable run, I suppose.
Yeah. And I will say their roster was constructed very well, and it was built for success in March, and obviously we saw it. So shout out UConn. And then I guess that transitions us to the varsity bracket pool, which we had a person with UConn as their winner, and that is I just realized that we have 2 in the chat, or we did at one point. One being our winner, Justin. And yes, he is active. I guess Lucas was in here for a little bit, but he left, I think, because now it's saying we got 1. But yeah, shout out Justin. Killed it on the bracket. Beat out my 93-year-old grandma. So congrats.
You must feel so great about yourself.
Also, that was her favorite team, so like, it's a win-win for her. She only picked against them because she saw them lose to Marquette. Whatever, I told this on the podcast before. She kept telling me, though, she's like, I should have picked them. She was like, that was so dumb of me. It's like, well, you had them in the championship. That was like, you didn't know they were going to play someone else. But yeah, congrats, Justin. You've earned yourself an appearance on this podcast. Not that you weren't going to be on it next week anyway for the draft, but hey, man, now you can double down, do the championship interview as well as talk about do the draft. So nice job there. all three of the podcast hosts were in the top 10. Shout out Adam, third place. B, sixth. I took 10th. Our podcast bracket took fifth. So not bad for having our champion lose in the Sweet 16. I do think we probably would have had the top four brackets if Alabama wins. So that's something to hang our heads high on. But yeah, I mean, not bad because we really didn't have much. Did I say that wrong? You're laughing. I think I might have said that term wrong. No? Okay, something else.
I was in a bracket where someone had Marquette as their champion, but then had UConn in their championship.
Mm-hmm.
And had a deeper run. I think they had San Diego State with a deeper run.
Okay, so they
and
won.
Was just because I was leading going into the weekend, and I needed Miami. I pretty much needed Miami to win.
Oh, that's right.
Brackets, and it just from the get-go was not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I knew it wasn't going to happen, but it was just frustrating.
Right. Yeah. Bizarre year for brackets for sure, because it's like if you had UConn in the Final Four of the championship, even if you didn't have them winning, there's a good chance you won your bracket pool.
It was one of my better brackets, though. I usually suck at bracket challenges, to be honest.
Yeah. Most of my brackets died with UCLA.
Yeah.
Going back on, I mean, we called it. That was the region of death with UConn, Kansas, Gonzaga, UCLA. When I couldn't pick all those different teams because I thought I would be screwing myself over.
But somebody was in your ear saying you shouldn't.
No, that was not it. I will stand by that.
Well, we're about to talk about that draft, but one last thing.
We can glance over this.
Recapping.
You don't need to do Nikki like this.
The pool results. Well, we should just go over. Well, I can pull it up. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, friend of the pod, Zan and Nikki took that last. Just thought we'd put it out there. I did say anyone who won the pool would be interviewed at the end, but I said I hope Nikki doesn't win, and he didn't win. So
I think we got to interview last place too. I think he's earned his way on the pod.
So is it a double interview then? Do we?
Get Nikki and Justin in here and let them work.
Well, I'm saying, but do we throw Zan in as well? Because he technically, I'm sure he would love to come on. Get those three in. Just have them debate hoops. And my grandma as well. Top two, bottom two.
Oh, good God. That would be the most insane group.
And that maybe we just don't even say anything. We just turn our cameras off and let them cook for an episode. Anyway, yeah, fun times. Shout out to everyone who participated. Thank you for having helping us have more than 5 total people this year. Okay, Justin, that was too far. Yeah, that's attack. Anyway, yeah, shout out everyone for participating. It was fun. Hopefully next year, there's a little more drama down at the end instead of pretty much 2 people having one team in the Final Four and that's it. But anyway, moving on. Just to recap our tournament draft, the field did not beat anyone this year. It was a 3-way tie for second. And then the second year in a row, I did win. But for the second year in a row, my bracket was also the worst out of all of us. So I don't know. Okay, sure you did, Justin. Need someone on my team to bully the 2. Oh gosh, maybe not that. But anyway, yeah, draft's fun. We got a new NIL draft next week. We'll discuss a little bit more in detail the rules of that. I think we're going to change it up a little bit. But yeah, just because there's so many lists out there for NIL, how much people are earning, instead of doing it based on how much they earn, I think we're going to base it off we'll figure it out. We'll talk more about it next week. Hey, if you get the 1-1, you can start dibbing people, Justin, but
washed.
All right. Well, anyway, do we determine the draft order right now for that? So we have time to study? Because I do think, most drafts, ahead of the draft where you're going to pick.
What else are we going to do next week, though? I feel like that would be good.
Yeah, but I mean, if we have a week, we can really hype this thing up. Like we could say, somebody's on the clock. I don't know. We don't have to, but next week it's going to be a short episode no matter what. You gotta itch there. I don't know. Do you guys want to? That might be fun. We don't have much else this week. It's totally up to you. Kind of like a draft lottery, though. Justin, I need a confirmation that you'd be in on this right now. Because we need you in the chat if your wheel gets because we're going to spin the wheel to determine who gets to pick their spot. So if Justin's good with that, we'll do it. Otherwise, we can do it next week. This is just for draft order. All right, we'll wait on that. Let's look back at the tournament. Just talking about our favorites. He is game for that. So we'll do that. Well, now he's saying I don't know. All right. Well, let's do it.
Just do it next week.
We'll do it next week. All right, that's fine. I just wanted to spin the wheel, but maybe we can think of something to spin the wheel for. Still tonight because spinning the wheel is fun, and this episode's going to be short. Okay. Let's quickly, or we don't have to go quickly, but let's talk about our favorites of the tournament as a whole. Should we keep this for the men's, or should we do it for you could do men or women?
I'm fine with both, honestly.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
That'll change my answers.
Okay.
But let's start with that. Okay, favorite underdog. So this could be favorite. So this is team, your favorite team that was an underdog. It could be, we'll say, a 9 or higher. You can just say why. It could be they made a deep run, if they had one good game, if they battled a good team, whatever it was. You could pick Iona, and then say, they played UConn better than any other team. I don't know. Pick who you want. Yeah.
My favorite was Furman. That game against Virginia. Yep. The buzzer, not the buzzer beater, but the last shot against Virginia.
Yeah,
I was gonna pick that for my favorite game, kind of, but I was like, nah, we'll just throw him an underdog, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, just that whole game was very fun.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that's a good underdog pick. And they were so excited after that kind of is what got March started, I feel like. So I like that pick a lot. Adam?
Princeton, I guess, just because they did what nobody thought they would.
Could do. Except my grandma.
It's true. Shout out, grandma. And they played well. I mean, they took Creighton to the end. I mean, they lost by 11, but
Justin was Florida State.
Florida State beat Miami, a Final Four team. I just want that known.
Fair enough.
Respect. I was gonna say Princeton, and I think for the men's that was my favorite. I'm shocked nobody said FDU, but I don't know.
Somebody's got to. If you're not going to, I'm switching mine to FDU and then changing my favorite game to Furman.
Well, I'm not gonna say it, but I was gonna say because Adam said Princeton, I was gonna switch it up. Because they were a 9 seed. I'm gonna go with Miami women's basketball. Because we had them in our Final Four. They made it to the Elite Eight. They took down some good teams. They had a gnarly comeback in the first round. And they have the calendar twins. So it's the win-win-win. But, yeah, I guess, B, are you switching then and then making your favorite game?
No, we'll keep it.
Okay.
Do I get to go first for
we'll
favorite
just
game
say
too? Because I feel like my favorite game might get taken.
Shout out after you. We'll just say
Shout out after you.
Shout out after you because they made a great run with their shocking win, and then they played FAU well. I'm not gonna say they almost won, but they played them well. Anyway, okay, what's next? Favorite player.
I feel like me and Adam might have the same favorite player, to be honest.
I might as well. I don't know who your favorite player of the draft was, or tournament.
Mine's Sonogo.
Oh, okay. That wasn't me, so okay.
He did win me a bet.
Okay.
He did help me with that. I thought the Kansas State point guard.
That was mine.
Mine was between Sonogo and Noel.
Noel, yeah. I like he was so much fun to watch. So much fun to watch. Like the alley-oop tosses and just like some of the shots. I will say, not that they play the same at all, but I felt like he was for the men's tournament, at least for a little bit, not to the level, but like what Caitlin Clark did to the women's, because it was like he could hit those crazy shots. He made those really nice passes. Again, not quite on the same level, like compared to the rest of the competition, but Justin's not happy about this. Didn't think about him taking down Michigan State, but
yeah, we're going to talk about it later.
For the best game.
Yep.
Okay, I'll let you have.
That's a good transition. So,
so best game.
This is not just because the clown car rolled up to the comments, but my favorite game.
I'm always a Haley Van Lith fan, but Marquise Snowell is my pick. So. Okay. Favorite game, Beeve. Why don't you give us a start here? I know it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it's just
there were
so
a lot
tough.
of really good games.
I was gonna go Gonzaga, UCLA, but I don't know. It's Michigan State and Kansas State. That was the best game of the tournament.
True. How many overtime games were there in the tournament?
Was that the only one?
How many teams' season ended in overtime this tournament? I can't think.
Was that only Michigan State?
Michigan State? Their season ended in overtime. That's true.
Could you imagine scoring 93 points and losing?
That would be very upsetting to be a fan of that team.
I'd find a library.
Oh, gosh. That might be a team. Oh, man.
Oh, that's where we're drawing the line. That's where we're drawing the line. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
What it may represent might.
I'm promoting reading?
Yeah, I suppose.
That game's in the history book. You can find that history book in the library.
Yeah, shout out to me, though. I'm reading a book right now, which is
of course
different for me. So, shout out me. Okay. Adam, you have a favorite game?
Yeah, mine was the UCLA Gonzaga game.
Yeah, that was a very good game. I mean, not much to say there. Just because it was such a good game,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, and I don't know, it was exciting.
It was a Drew Timmy masterclass. Then the shot by Strother. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Gosh, I mean, it's hard to not pick either of those games, so I'm trying to do something else. I will say,
San Diego State, Alabama was a good one. Just because thought everyone thought Alabama was going to coast.
Yeah, that was a good game, except for the fact that ruined all of our brackets. So it was I'm not going to pick that. I will say that night of games was really good, but I do think maybe Arkansas over Kansas. That was a really good game. I don't know, Kansas had the lead and Arkansas clawed back and win by 1 against the defending champs. So maybe I'll go with that just to pick something different. I mean, again, there were a lot of really good games and a lot of big upsets. So it's always tough to pick just one game, but maybe we'll go with that. And then Now, this is similar, but we'll go favorite moment. So, like, within a game. Yeah. Guys got anything? I can think of, like, two.
Like, when I think of moment, I think of, like, Fairleigh Dickinson winning.
Okay.
But
yeah. All right.
I'm not sure about, like, in game.
Okay.
I mean, when the buzzer sounded at the end of the Michigan State-Kansas State game, that was a pretty good moment.
Well, so this I genuinely was gonna say the alley-oop at the end.
I mean, I'll back you with that. I'll back you with that then.
But I'm out of respect. I won't.
I guess it could be like Gonzaga's 3 that they pulled on UCLA.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that was crazy
That's what
too.
I was gonna say.
I was just gonna say even like the San Diego State buzzer beater in the Final Four, just to win a Final Four game down.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna go with. But the alley-oop was nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a good tournament though. A lot of fun. It's fun to have a lot of upsets. We'll see. I mean, a lot of excitement happened in March. So shout out to that. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything basketball related? Otherwise, like, I guess we can just kind of wrap this up if you guys want, like, stories. I mean, yeah. Anyone got anything for this week?
Wisconsin hired a new hockey coach.
Yes, they did.
Pulled away the Minnesota State coach. It's been to like 5 straight tournaments or something like that.
Yeah.
Might have been more than that actually that I read, but been to the Frozen Four a few times. He's had a few good teams, so see if he can get the program flipped around.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback off that then because this is very interesting. The Badgers go, and obviously they take Mike Hastings, however you say it, and then Minnesota State offers Todd Knott, his assistant, the head coaching position, and he turns it down, and there's speculation he'll be headed to Wisconsin to join the staff. He's like turning down a head coaching opportunity though, which is crazy to me. But like, if you like, I get it. Like that means he's bought in to, like, he's a loyal guy. I love it. But like, that's pretty crazy. Like to turn down a head coaching opportunity. I don't know, but I love it. I respect the heck out of it. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's great for the Badgers. I think they needed it. Like they certainly have had a lot of talent over the past, few years, but especially, few like they've had guys in the NHL, but it's like they just can't really seem to get it done. And I don't know if Granato was like the best in-game coach, and I think that's what it comes down to because they've had talent. Like I don't know, like obviously, like they had when Caulfield was there, they were better, but like they've had other guys. I don't know, but yeah, I like the hire. Anything else, guys?
Did we talk about Dickinson entering the portal last week or no?
Oh no, we didn't. I think that happened.
Did it happen? It happened after.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Like all this talk and all this like Michigan this, Michigan that, Jawan this, Jawan that. And
sounds like he's gonna go to Maryland, I think.
Really?
Possibly. Well, that's where he's from. He played high school at DeMatha.
Okay, interesting. I didn't hear like anything about where he was potentially going, but that
he's looking for a payday, I believe. So whoever pays him the most is probably.
Yeah, I mean he's not going to make it to the NBA, so.
Florida State was in his final group out of high school.
I wouldn't want him. I mean, maybe Beef does, but
No, mid.
I think he's a bad locker room guy.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'll be interested to see. It would be. I don't want this to happen, but I do think it would be hilarious if he went to Wisconsin. Like after all that, I would be very upset. But I think like if he really is like a funny dude, he would go to the Badgers. But if I'm the Badgers, I'm saying no. But I think if he was funny, it was like just kidding. Like I wore a ski mask and talked all this trash for years. But Justin is telling us that he's going to UW, so I don't want him, but I think it would be hilarious.
Washington. He means Washington.
Oh,
yeah.
My bad. I forget that they think they're UW, which is let me look this up because I think the university was founded.
They're the University of Washington.
Yeah, 1861. That's 13 years after Madison. Why do they think they can be? I hate it because, by the way, they get about time. Roddy just homered. I don't know.
Brian Reynolds just got another RBI. I'm serious, bro. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah. Anyway. Sorry, that distracted me a little bit, and it's off Scherzer. Anyway, you guys got anything else you want to talk about? Here is another. I'll say because I didn't really tell my story. I just went off beef. So, Middle Tennessee beat Miami last year, football, and they got and then they went on to win the Hawaii Bowl over San Diego State, and then they got their rings, and they're trolling Miami with them.
They do like an upside down U.
Well, here, let me pull it up. It's why is this not working? I apologize. Computers are tough, you know. Anyway, I'm sorry. My laptop is being awful right now. Okay, well, this isn't going to work. But anyway, it's not that funny. It's technology. No. Sure, you guys are laughing at something else, hopefully. Not my laptop being awful. Anyway, you know what? It's neither here nor there. Shut up, Middle Tennessee. They won a bowl game. But anyway, yeah. But yeah. Anything else? Otherwise, next week we got the draft.
Yeah, I think that's see what Justin does. I mean,
yeah.
Is Justin putting stuff in the chat? Is that what
we'll see if Justin even shows up on
Brian Anderson again.
No.
Holy doly.
Maybe you should just turn into a Brian Anderson podcast.
I know. I'm sorry.
Where did he go to college? Maybe we could invite him on. Did he go to college? That's the question.
Let's find out
right now. Arkansas.
Oh. Yeah, Razorbacks. Okay.
Mets are looking really feeble right now.
I know. I can't imagine. He
really
just put on the Chiefs. I can't imagine the Frank the Tank video after this.
Oh, the one last night I thought was going to be a little bit better. The one tonight should be pretty good.
I know.
Yeah.
I also,
after losing 10-0, he was upset in the office today, though. I don't know if you saw that, but
yeah. He
was screaming in the office today.
He walked in and was
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, gotta love. Yeah, he's still wearing the cheese head. He's walking around the dugout with a cheese head now. I love this.
Is that their celebration for the year? Cheese head?
Maybe. I didn't. It is now.
I think it's funny that they're beating Scherzer. I don't like Max Scherzer.
Oh no, I know. I'm with you there. I'm surprised he's still in. He's thrown 85 pitches. He's given up 2 homers this inning. That's. I'm really hoping Garrett Mitchell gets a big hit here. But anyway.
Turn it into a baseball podcast.
No way.
Did Garrett Mitchell just hit a home run?
Yes, he did. Come on.
Is that back to back to back?
Seriously?
Yeah, he just homered. 3rd homer of the inning. Let's go.
I think it's back to back to back, isn't it?
It is. That's back to back to back. That's back to back to back.
Yeah, it is. Oh, he's getting the cheese head. Adames has it out for him. Yep, that's their self. Oh, he's crowning him outside the dugout so the whole crowd can see it. That's sweet. That's sweet. Oh, man. I did think it would be fun to do if we just, like, branched out and had, like, several podcasts because it'd be fun to do a baseball one. Oh, I love it. I love it.
The last 2 were on 2 strike counts.
What's that?
The last 2 homers were on 2 strike counts.
Yeah, that's pretty darn good. Is he still in the game? Are they keeping him in the game?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I'm following. I'm just following to see if they hit another one.
Oh,
I'm like
big
4
cut
pitches
from
behind
Garrett.
because my thing started lagging. So I just saw the homer.
Jim is behind me because I'm following on at bat and I'm a pitch ahead. So
I don't know how he got that out.
TV's always behind.
I'm not sure how he got that out. But
anyway,
yeah,
college sports. Hey, actually,
live reaction to baseball.
UCLA
legend.
I'm wearing this because of Garrett Mitchell, actually. So, shout out Garrett Mitchell. Actually, I wore this yesterday when I was at the game under my Mitchell jersey, and then today I was wearing a burgundy colored shirt, and I'm like, that won't go well under this for the pod because I like to wear a hoodie when I do the pod because it's comfortable. So I switched back into this, which is why I'm wearing it. That's why I knew I was wearing it, but that's our college tie into this. But anyway.
Did Rowdy go to college?
I feel like he didn't.
No, he didn't. He was committed to USC. So I was going to say that could have been back-to-back home runs by college players.
By college
That's the tie-in. Yep.
What's the count? It's probably different. Oh, it says it's full on mine. Ooh.
It is full. I can confirm it is full.
Okay, cool.
Caratini's 8 of 19 against Scherzer in his career.
Oh, good numbers.
1 of 2 tonight.
Oh,
I think this is
He's
good.
Battling.
This was a short episode, so I'm like
a
little extra something, even though this isn't our normal, just a live look at Max Scherzer getting shelled.
Johnny Davis is playing well in the series.
Good for him. I don't know. I didn't know if it was ever really gonna get much better for him, but I'm happy for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
He didn't have a great second half. He's only got he only has 2 in the second half. 13, 4, and 3 on 6 of 13 shooting though. 29 minutes, 0 turnovers, 2 steals. Pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, so if they hit a home run after a walk, can we count it as back? Oh, well, never mind. There goes Scherzer.
Ooh. That's tough. It's a truly feeble performance.
Yeah. Well, we'll be seeing a Frank the Tank thing. We could react live to Frank the Tank because I'm sure we're going to get a post.
That's not going to be for a while.
Yeah.
I see in-play outs one more fucking time from this team. I'm pardon the language. frustrating. Losing a series to the Pirates is not going to cut it.
Is this game 2 of the series or game 3?
Game 2. I mean, the schedule could not have set up better for the Red Sox to get a hot start to this season because they have the Tigers after this, that impoverished franchise. Like, if you don't sweep the Tigers, I don't care. You fold the franchise if you don't sweep the Tigers.
So the trolling, by the way, for the Middle Tennessee Rings were because they beat Miami and were eligible for a bowl in Miami. Yeah, so it was more like a petty move, but I still respect it. But anyway. All right, it's a commercial break on the game, so I think we can probably call it a pod. But, yeah, next week, draft, Justin, be there. He wants a 1v1, it looks like, with someone. I don't know who.
Me for talking about the trash Tigers where I did not utter a false word.
Well, actually, you know what you guys could do? 1v1 in the show, he has to play as the Tigers, you play as the Red Sox.
Okay, don't insult me like that.
Whoa. Wait, how is that an insult to you?
Thinking that Justin can hang?
Well, no, I don't.
Oh, okay.
But he's asking for 1v1. That's my point.
Okay, yeah.
That's my point. My point is not that I think he can hang. My point is that it would be if he wants to 1v1.
Yeah, that game will be about as close as our 40 Nugget challenge.
I still want that. When is that happening?
I don't know. When Justin stops being scared of me, I guess. I don't know.
Is Justin? People are saying Justin is avoiding the state of Wisconsin.
Sure
because
is.
He doesn't do the 40 Nugget challenge against.
Yeah. No, he's scared. He's scared. He's so scared.
Because it is interesting. I think last year on pod we asked him, and he said, "Yeah, sometime this summer, it was going to happen."
He's nervous. It's okay. I would be too.
I guess, Justin, you're going to have to come on next week and defend yourself. That's what it comes down to.
650.
He's scared of nothing but you. That's a good one, Justin.
I'm scared of Summers. I'm not scared of you. Summers would beat me.
Summers, he's got mentality.
Summers got that dog in him. Summers got that dog in him.
He's got the craziness factor. Yeah. It's like, I think
if somebody could take me down, I think Summers got that.
You guys have the eating talent, I think, but Summers just has that switch where he can just not care.
I still have the proof. He downed a pint of Culver's ice cream in 10 minutes.
He can.
The dude's an animal.
Summers can eat. They don't call him Summers Eats for nothing, and they don't call him Summers Beats for nothing either. That guy can rap as well. And by the way, we had him. Well, he was living with you at the time, Adam, but we had him on the last episode. We should get him back on sometime. I don't know what we would do with him because we interviewed him last year as a intramural. Maybe we could do a year being retired from intramural college sports. All right. Well, anyway, let's call it there.
Damn near stretched that to an hour. That's insane.
Yeah, I know. I know. Shout out us. Not that. Maybe we go another minute. Let's see. Let's name.
Let's stretch it out, baby. Keep it going.
Name the most random college athlete you can think of. Let's go with the most random. We can think about this. The most random college athlete, and we'll say it can't be from the Badgers or something, because probably for you, no Florida State beef.
I was about to pull Shane Connolly out of my ass.
Oh, what a great goalie. He was awesome. Fun Shane Connolly story. So, my neighbors had a babysitter who, this was at the time he was the goalie. And I was like super into Badger hockey at the time, and she went to UW, and she would always talk about her boyfriend Shane. And still to this day, I don't know, but I've always assumed that it was Shane Conley, even though I'm certain it wasn't. I've always just assumed it was him, even though I know for a fact that there was no chance it was. And I was like, 8 or 9 at the time, and I was like very convinced that this lady that was like my neighbor's babysitter or nanny or whatever was dating Shane Conley. Shout out Shane Conley. All right, you know what? We're just going to look up what he's doing. We've also got it over an hour, but now I'm just kind of curious. What do you think he's doing? It's probably he's probably not playing hockey anymore. No way. He's the director of hockey operations for the Badgers.
Good for him.
I did not realize that. That's awesome. And it has his phone number, so we could call him. His phone number is just literally on their site. That's awesome, though. Shout out Shane Conley. All right. Anything else?
I think that just about wraps it up.
All right. Any other shout-outs? We're shouting out Shane Conley, B.
We're shouting out the Nebraska track and field team.
Okay.
And we're wishing
Lucas.
this weekend. Lucas! Bang!
No, show's over.
Lucas is in the chat, though. Lucas
We stretch it for a little bit. We stretch it for a little bit longer.
Lucas at the buzzer.
At the buzzer. Lucas, you got anything anything you want to share? What's new with you? We'll wait. Or maybe we get like Lucas and Justin have like a chat off, even though nobody in the podcast can actually see it if they watch it later. I think we need a recap of today's episode. All right, I'll do that. We started off, we just went over this weekend in sports. There wasn't really much outside of the Final Fours. Gymnastics has reached the final 8 teams. We also talked about Southern Miss baseball. They went 2-1. Of course, they got hosed in their Ole Miss game because it was ruled a no contest when they were winning. Then we talked about the how the NIT is not a real tournament and that if you lose in the NIT, it doesn't count as a real loss. Then we talked about the women's college hoops, broke down an exciting Final Four, talked about all that going on, Caitlin Clark and all the trash talking going on, and then the First Lady inviting the losing team to the White House. And then we talked about the men's thing, the Final Four, all that. Then we got into our brackets. Shout out Justin, he won. Shout out Nikki, he took dead last. And then we talked about the tournament draft. Shout out me. I did win for the podcast tournament draft. Nobody lost to the field. That was good. And then we talked about our favorite moments of the tournament, favorite underdogs, favorite players, favorite games. And then we just broke down with the news story of the week. And then we've been stretching it out for the final 15, 20 minutes. We've just been talking about nothing. We saw the Brewers hit back-to-back home runs. Okay, Lucas, that's too far.
Yeah, no, Lucas is getting bonked.
We're not objectifying
bonked.
Student athletes. Yeah, you have been major bonked. We did lose Adam, his connection. It looks like he's back now. So that was our podcast. So it's been a good one. Then we talked about Shane Conley. Shout out Shane Conley. He was the goalie for the Badgers like 15 years ago. So yeah, there's your recap. He wants everyone to do a hot take.
Lucas, do you have any obscure college athlete that you remember?
Who? Me?
Lucas.
Oh, Lucas. Yes, Lucas. Tell us the most obscure college athlete you can think of. Well, I got one. Kyle Bauer. Kent State Wrestling.
Rudy Dunda, Denver hockey.
Oh, there you go. That's a good pull.
Yeah, Lucas has nothing. Looks like the episode's over. That narrows it down, Lucas.
Come on, man. The fact that he's also trying to say like the most famous college athlete right now is absurd.
I don't think he's talking about Caitlin Clark. I think he's talking about 24.
Oh. Can we
Does that just about do it?
Next week, we're going to require, so Justin wants a college esports. This will just about do it, but he wants a collegiate esports section. Next week, you have to report as a guest. That's your job. You're going to have to give us one collegiate esports story.
Dude spelled roster like toaster. I mean, good God.
Oh man, Luke is coming into our chat.
At least he used it correct there.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. We're excited for you to. Thank you for volunteering to do that story for us next week. All right, with that is the end of our episode. Thank you all for watching, viewing, listening, subscribing, sharing, commenting. What else can you do with a YouTube video? Pausing, playing, and most importantly, casting to your television. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and live chat shout out you guys for being here. Next week we've got the NIL draft featuring Justin. All right, take it easy. Any last words for anyone?
No, I already gave my shout out.
Perfect. Adam, you got any shout outs this week? You don't usually get to shout people out.
I'm not shouting out anyone in the chat.
Shout out to everyone